Hey guys, just gonna be making a guide for the Fury Warrior DPS. So I'm gonna start with the talents. First you're going on a spec into Battle Trance, which causes your Bloodthirst, Mortal Strike, and Shield Slam, but for Fury it's just gonna be Bloodthirst, to have a 15% chance to make your next special attacks that uses more than 5 rage to use no rage, so that's good. Cruelty, 10% crit on your Bloodthirst, that's good. Executioner, when the target is low, your executes are going to give you haste, that's good. Booming Voice is going to make you use battle or commanding shout more often. It's going to help you get more rage, and that's going to be useful. Piercing Howl, this is good for ad control, not really so much for DPS. Also using it to unlock the next tier. Rude Interruption, mainly just interrupt the next tier, but it's going to give you a little extra DPS when you interrupt. And Rage is going to give you a chance to deal extra damage, which is good, especially for Raging Blow. Death Wish is a good DPS cooldown, which again helps for Raging Blow. Flurry, you're going to be doing basically after you crit, you're going to have really good haste for a few seconds. Raging Blow when you're enraged, so with Death Wish, Enrage, or Berserker Rage, you can use this and it's going to be a decent part of your rotation. It's going to deal some good DPS. Rampage, it's kind of a raid-wide buff that's going to increase your crit, and it's going to increase your crit by an additional amount. Furious Attacks, this one isn't that great, more slightly towards PvP. And I do PvP a little bit on this character. Meat Cleaver, this is AoE talent. Intensify Rage, this is going to reduce your DPS cooldowns, so that's going to be useful. Blood Surge is going to be a great proc that's going to make your slam free and deal extra damage. It's great. Skirmisher, this isn't that great, but it's very helpful for mobility because it's going to reduce the cooldown of Intercept and Heroic Leap. Titan's Grip is going to be your main helpful DPS because it's going to make you use two-handed. You can also spec into Single-Minded Fury, where when you're using one-handed weapons in each hand, you do 20% more damage, and Slam hits with both, but I find Titan's Grip hits better. Now, there is slightly different stats for these two, but it will mainly be focusing on Titan's Grip. In the Arms tree, Field Dressing, mainly just open up this tree, but it does give you some good self-heals. War Academy, it's going to increase the damage of your Victory Rush, Slam, and Raging Blow by 15%. Those are just the ones that Fury's going to be using. And Deep Wounds is great. You're going to cause the target to bleed when you crit. Over in the Prot tree, Insight's going to basically, without overcomplicating it, it's going to give you crit on your Heroic Strike. Glyphs. Now, I still have my glyphs from my arms spec because I've recently changed to Fury. So these obviously none of these are good for, pretty much none are good for Fury, so we'll just go through and we'll show you. Bloodthirst is going to be good because it's going to increase the damage, just flat damage. Raging Blow, extra crit, that's good. And then probably you're going to want to take Slam because you're going to use that with the Blood Surge proc. It's going to increase the crit of Slam. Major Glyphs. Colossus Mass, I guess that's a decent talent, or glyph, you may want to take that. Death Wish, I guess, if you're not taking damage, that's not very useful. Piercing Howl, if you're not really using that, it's not important, but you could take that. I guess if you want to help out your healers for trash and stuff, you could get Glyph of Victory Rush. And Glyph of Intercept, you could get that, I guess, to help stun ads or PvP. Cleaving for AoE, you might want to use that one. And minor glyphs are pretty much useless, but I like to have command in battle so you don't have to worry about those, even though you want to do it for extra rage. And Bloody Healing, actually really good for a minor glyph, but it doesn't help DPS. You're going to heal yourself more with Bloodthirst. Now we're going to look at stats. Now, a lot of this gear is not very good. It's low item level. Parts from my tank set, Just all around, it's not very good gear. My eye level for this set is only 351. It's very low, so don't expect any high DPS from this character. I have been 85 for fairly long, but I don't play on this character very long. And I am not the most experienced warrior, but I do know some good stuff about it. Now, these talents may not be the best, but they work fairly good for me for what gear I'm using. Now, my weapons aren't that great either, so that definitely does affect my DPS. But for actual stats, number 1 is strength above all. I don't have many gem slots, and this is part of my tank set, which is why it has mastery, but strength goes above everything else. Next, you're going to want to hit your soft hit cap, which is 8%, so your special attacks always hit. Then you're going to want expertise of 26. Next is going to be crit. Crit is going to help a lot with, you're going to have lots of talents, like you're going to have talents like deep wounds that are going to play off of crit. Flurry and crit is just good for a Fury Warrior. Now your stats priorities kind of change depending whether you take Titan's Grip or Single-Minded Fury past year. For Titan's Grip, you're going to want to get Mastery first, then Extra Hit for your auto attacks, then Haste. For Single-Minded Fury, you're going to want Hit first past the soft caps, so your auto attacks hit more, then Haste, then Mastery. Now I could go into the exact reasons why this is, but I'm not going to bother. That's just essentially the stats that are going to be priority for Single-Minded Fury or Titan's Grip. We'll go through cooldowns. So for cooldowns, first is Berserker Rage. Now this doesn't give you any DPS, but it's going to enrage you, which allows the use of Raging Blow, so that's going to be useful. Recklessness is going to give you a lot of crit. You're going to take slightly more damage, but it does help you crit a lot more, so that's going to be great for DPS. Any of your trinkets, this is just a macro I made to pop my trinkets with a different icon. And Death Wish, which you talented into, which is going to enrage you, which, like Berserker Rage, is going to cause you to be able to use Raging Blow. And it's also going to increase your damage done. And like Recklessness, you're going to take more damage, but this is a DPS guide, not a tanking guide. Retaliation, you can just pop that if you're taking melee damage, which in most scenarios you shouldn't be as a Fury Warrior. So for the rotation, I'm quickly just going to build up my rage. Alright, so now I'm almost full. So you're going to want to pop Battle Shout or Commanding Shout. You're going to want to use Intercept to run in. Now, the first thing you want to hit is you're going to want to hit your Colossus Smash, and Bloodthirst, and Raging Blow if it procs from Enrage procs. So your main two you're going to want to be hitting is your Raging Blow and your Bloodthirst, Slam when it procs, Colossus Smash when it's off cooldown, and when you have high rage like now, Heroic Strike. So your priority is first of all Colossus Smash, then Bloodthirst or Slam if Bloodthirst procs, then Raging Blow if it's up, then Bloodthirst, then Heroic Strike if you're over 65 rage. That's just kind of a good number. So these are your main 5 abilities. See, I'm only doing about 4,000 DPS. If you have good gear, reforge, spec, gem properly, unlike this character, which, like I said before, PvP, tanky, or whatever, you should be doing a lot more than 4k DPS, and I also haven't been playing a warrior that long. Plus, you'd have buffs like King's Might, Mark of the Wild, whatever. Now, depending, you may want to put 3 stacks of center armor before, if people aren't doing that, but it's not absolutely necessary. Some people say it can help you with a lot of DPS, but just keeping it up can be a hassle. Plus, center armor does generate a large amount of threat, and that's not good. For AoE, you're really going to want to do Whirlwind, Cleave, and pop, where is it on my bar? Inner Rage if you can. I have it macroed into Cleave, but it's going to allow you to cleave more often, and those are your main things. Now, when your target is at 20% or below, you're going to want to execute 5 times so that you have 5 stacks of Executioner. And then you're going to want to, once it's at 5, you're going to want to make sure it's always up and continue on with your rotation. As far as I can tell, that's mostly it. If you want to see a specific class guide or gold guide or boss guide, whatever, leave a comment. If I did something wrong, forgot something, whatever, leave a comment. Hopefully this guide did help some of you, even newer warriors. And thanks for watching.